Hello everyone and welcome back to another All You Need to Know video. And finally we've signed a striker. Yes, Josh Redfearn is now a Stone and he's coming in with a great deal of experience at, again, another relatively young age. 24 years of age for Josh, most recently playing at Welling in the National League South last season. Seeing a bit of a trend here with TJ Bramble being the player who signed just before him from the same side. But yeah, 24 years of age, around 6'2" tall, can play with both feet as well, or at least can certainly finish with both feet, which is a good sign for us going forward. A little bit versatile in that forward role, and someone who hopefully can bring an abundance of goals to the Stones in this coming season. So, looking at Josh as a player, how has he got to this point? Well, he was originally born in England, moved to New Zealand at the age of 2, and has been applying his trade on the other side of the world since then. He most recently, as I said, last year moved to Welling and of course has now moved to the Stones. Looking at his career in New Zealand, it was quite a positive one. You know, he scored quite a lot of goals for quite a few teams, and that's always a good sign. You know, it's not just one club, that sort of thing, but he played for a few different teams over in New Zealand, starting off at Onehunga in 2019. He left there, moved to Waitakere, I believe it's pronounced from what I could find online, was there for about a year before moving to Auckland, and Auckland is where he applied his trade for the longest. He ended up scoring 43 goals in 91 games there, so again, very impressive statistics and something that I think can definitely benefit the Stones. You know, you want to see someone scoring a goal every other game, if not more. And I think if you can find that consistency in this side, then you're probably doing something very, very good for us going forward. And that's the sort of thing that really, if you want to be winning league titles, you're going to need your strikers to be scoring 20 plus goals a season, and that's a goal every other game pretty much. So, you know, he's had that form before in his career, so maybe that will carry over to the Stones. Now, after Auckland, he moved to Glenorchy Knights, where he played for just under a year before moving to Welling last October. So he's spent about 2/3 of the season at Welling. And when he first started, including cup and league games, he scored 4 goals in his first 5 appearances, so he certainly hit the ground running in his time back in the UK. And unfortunately for him, he was sort of in and out of the side, and I've done a little bit of research on this. He was actually dropped after playing those, first few fixtures, getting quite a few goals and impressing all round really with his general performance. Even the manager and assistant manager at the time, were very, very praising of his all-round performance, his contribution to games. He's not just a goal scorer. He has this ability to hold up, interlink, bring other players into the game and press effectively as well. So you'd think, why are these things not getting him in the starting lineup? Out of the 28 games he played for Welling last season, he started 17 of them and was on the bench for 11, making 11 substitute appearances. He scored 7 goals in that time just in the South, and he also did contribute with goals in the Cup as well, most notably scoring in the Kent Senior Cup final 1-0 victory over Ebbsfleet United. So they're coming back. Hopefully he can score some goals against them next season in the National League South for us. But like I said, why was it that he was kind of in and out of the squad? He's pretty much like a 60-40 sort of start to bench ratio. There was quite a few games he wasn't on the bench either, or didn't feature in the side from the bench. And from what I can find online, I've done quite a bit of digging into the Welling forums and online sort of articles and things like that, and a lot of it seemed to come down to the management team at the time. Quite inconsistent with their lineups. Fans questioning very regularly why some of their better players in better positions were being dropped. How can you get consistent performances when you don't have a consistent lineup? Trying to change things up every week. And for me, that's probably the reason why Josh was in and out of the side at times last season. But he started his time at Welling really well, and he ended it with 2 goals in his last 2 games as well, I believe against Chelmsford and Salisbury. So definitely got that ability to score, and he's quite a technical finisher at times. We saw multiple times in last season and at Auckland as well, primarily, that he has this ability to lob the keeper, go around the keeper quite a lot as well. But for me, the main thing that makes him the player that we're going to be bringing in and what we can expect to see is that 6 to 8 yard area that he operates in. right in the centre of the goal. You know, he's certainly, in my opinion, a penalty box striker, a poacher, someone who will get on the end of service, and that's something that Maidstone really need to prioritise if they want Josh to succeed this season, because although he can make a goal for himself, in a similar fashion to when I first watched the highlights, I thought back to Jamie Vardy, you know, in the Premier League, for example, not in terms of necessarily style of play, but the areas in which they operate in. Vardy, of course, can create a goal for himself from occasion, and sometimes something quite spectacular. So can Josh. But the majority of the goals that they're scoring are coming from inside that sort of penalty box, you know, wider area, and a lot of the balls are being fed straight into him, and it's his positioning and ability to be in the right place at the right time that makes him such a proficient scorer in previous years. So hopefully, after a difficult season with Welling, like I said for TJ, he might be able to come into a side that's looking to be slightly more successful, provide a little bit more service, and try and flourish in his Maidstone United side. Looking across all of his minutes from the National League South last season, I believe it was 1,831, might have been 1,631, but it equates to 18.1 full 90s across last season, and 7 goals in that time is not too bad. That's almost a goal every other game, which is what I just said at the start of the video we want to see from someone coming in. And of course, applied across a season, times that by about 2 or 3, you're going to be looking around that 20 goal mark versus the amount of games he's playing. So he's definitely someone who can deliver if given the opportunity. With the amount of wide players we're signing and midfielders in those creative positions, looking at, you know, John Gilbert, of course, Yilla, Tanga, so many more to name who've come in recent weeks. They're people who can provide and have done in the past as well. And hopefully they can find Redfearn in the box. And that is going to be my hope for this season. Someone who we can aim for a little bit of a change in the status quo for Maidstone United. Our forwards in recent years have often been runners, people who will go out to the left, go out to the right, play all across that front line, and Blair and Rush, even Mo Fowl at times as well as drifting out wide. So I think we're going to go for something a little bit more central this season, that focal point up front. And I think Josh Redfearn is certainly someone who could do that. So welcome to the Stones, Josh. All the best for this upcoming season. If you did enjoy this All You Need to Know video, then leave a like and a subscribe down below. And I'll catch you for the next signing. I'm going on holiday next week for a week, so you may see a slightly different setup if we do sign any players. I'm sure the missus won't mind me recording a 5-minute video if we do bring anybody in, but I will be at the first pre-season game this weekend. So thank you also very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.